Hello and welcome to Mastering Results Show. I'm your host, Greg Lander, and today we're going to cover a couple of specific things. One is kind of like breaking out of the safety net, if you will, the security of a job or a paycheck, and breaking into, as say, a freelancer and building your own world. But as well, we're going to delve into the roller coaster ride, if you will, in terms of all of the emotions, the fears, the self-doubts, all the inner blocks and challenges that come with that. And today we have a special guest that I was able to get on the show with me. She is an editor, a writer, a teacher, a contractor, freelancer, consultant, Miss Tiffany King. Tiffany.
Hello.
Thanks for being on the show.
Oh, I'm glad
I've been looking forward to this.
I know. This is my buddy. And so
Yes. Actually, I was going to kind of point this out in a couple of minutes, but
sorry.
Yes, full disclosure, Tiffany and I, we do go back a ways. We go back some years, right? Our
sure
paths and our interests kind of were like on a parallel trajectory, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
And we also kind of like were starting out around the same time too, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah,
we kind of went through the trenches together, but we had the same mindset when we met.
Did,
so
man. We always had some long talks. We covered some serious ground, but it was inspirational knowledge that really kind of nurtured who we were at the time so that we could become who we are and what we're doing now.
Absolutely.
I would say. So give us, bring us up to speed. What exactly are you doing these days?
Okay. Well, right now, I do own my own business. I have since about 2015.
Okay.
I have been a freelance writer, an editor. Tiffany's Edits, professional writing and editing services, is kind of like my foundation. But since then, a lot has spun off. So I take a lot of independent projects just on my own, as far as like developing website content, writing press releases, editing books. I've done so many things with my craft and talent. As of now, I am senior writer and managing editor for Sea Change Publishing.
Okay.
We're publishing a series of informative books. Made for the masses, particularly for low-income or middle-income Americans.
Okay.
So all of that has been a journey from just basically starting my own editing business, which up until this point. So it's wonderful. I'm an independent consultant, not necessarily an employee. So it's been a great ride. Absolutely.
As long as you can say it's been a great ride, I'm sure it's been quite a wild ride.
It has been a wild ride.
At the same time. Well, that is kind of a departure from when I knew what you were doing.
Yeah.
Not too long ago, but I'm sure everything has been just such a vast array of different things hitting you and coming at you all at the same time, or you don't know what kind of call or what's going to come up the next day.
It's true.
So let's go back a little bit.
Sure.
Give us the landscape. What did it look like when you were just getting out of the gate? What happened? How did you get your path going?
Wow, I could spend a long time, but I'll keep it brief and concise. Let's see. I got into a job, which, as you know, I had decided at that point that, okay, I've been a writer, I've been an editor, but just on a small, basic scale, and this is where I have my degree and my formal education. So I said, well, I'm going to do something with that. And my desire was also to freelance. My desire was to be at home in my jammies. I'm a mom and a wife, and I don't like driving. So all of these things sort of came together, and writing ultimately was the best thing that I could do for myself in terms of creating that lifestyle and also expressing my gift, my talent. I took a job with the thought process. I took a 9-to-5, saying that this will be my last 9-to-5. I will not do it again. I am going to start building from here. So I spent time blogging, as you know. That merged into a book, Messages to Our Daughters, on Amazon, that I wrote with Greg's sort of help and inspiration. He had written books before, so he really kind of nudged me in that direction. And from there, it went from a book to an editing business, to a rather successful editing business, to deciding to take the leap and finally leave that job and just continue to build from writing to editing to teaching to a lot of different aspects of, that craft. So
Right.
yeah, it kind of went from just a mindset of I want to get out of here and how do I do it? Okay, I know how to do it, so let's just start.
Yeah, and I remember you took the plunge and you wrote your first book. And what was the name of that book again?
Messages to Our Daughters.
Messages to Our Daughters. That's right, on
Yeah.
Amazon.
On
Tiffany
Amazon.
King. Okay. So that was really cool, and I remember you really got some traction from that book, and
Did okay.
it kind of happened a little faster than I was used to seeing, especially for myself. I mean, within
Yeah.
weeks you had contacts and people,
Yeah, it
wanting
was-
to say, hey, can you work with us on this project
Yeah.
or web or podcast or whatever, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
what I really love about what you do, the essence really, the core of what you do, Tiffany, which I really love, and I'm kind of like on maybe the flip side of things, is your passion and your knowledge of the power of the written word.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm kind of more on the flip side of the spoken word, language patterns, linguistics. But and I love how even though you've branched and several different things have come about for you, you still are within that realm of the power of the word.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Communication skills and
Yeah.
how to make words work. Would you say?
Absolutely.
I mean, especially as an editor, and you've had, as a freelancer, you've had companies all over the place contact you, and you've been working for, and especially for like copywriting, ad writing,
I had an offer
press
today.
release. Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah, I get offers literally once or twice a month from new companies.
That's
it's
incredible.
Yeah, to edit.
So you got to know how to make words work, how to
Yeah.
make words sell.
Yes.
Which I'm kind of in that ball game as far as headlines, subheadlines, copywriting,
Yeah.
and how to make words work. So that's really cool. So briefly, why don't you, if whatever you're willing to reveal, what would you say were 2 or 3 of the biggest inner challenges that you had to either face or overcome on this wild ride?
Okay. Well, first of all, I was not very resilient. I am someone who believes in allowing your talent to mature you and
Okay.
help you grow. So allow it to take you on that journey. So whatever character flaws you might have, your talent can draw that out of you and make you a better person. So resilience.
Okay.
Okay. Just becoming someone who can overcome and not become so discouraged when a roadblock is thrown in my way. Getting rid of self-doubt, that sort of thing, and also rising to occasions that I did not think were possible. I didn't set out to teach. That was something that sort of came down the pike for me. Speaking publicly, I'm an introvert, so I like to hide behind the computer and just let my work speak for itself. But as a teacher, I had to overcome and just be in front of people who were not fans of English, but to get them to come over. So I had to develop a lot of skills, a lot of interpersonal skills, and just overcome a lot of those personal roadblocks that I had.
Now, would you say that was part of any entrepreneur's journey, is learning and growing? I mean, that's what we're here to do,
100%.
right? I mean, really, if we're not learning and growing, I mean, what the hell else is really there to do? So in terms of you actually growing and knowing that you had to acquire some new skills,
Yeah.
some new attributes in order for you to be better prepared for what might be coming at you, what kind of phone call is going to come at you the next day, right?
Yeah.
But what I really loved is you had the flexibility, and we're going to talk about that in the next segment. You had not only a higher knowledge of what's happening real time, which allowed you to understand you're going to have to incorporate some flexibility.
Absolutely. You
Right?
had to. I had
Yeah.
to do that in order to get to the next level.
And I think any kind of freelance person, any kind of entrepreneur needs to have that flexibility. And I'm going to cover 5 or 6 steps to success in the next coming segment. And Tiffany, she's going to be joining us still in the next segment. We're going to cover even more things, and we're going to go a little bit more in depth. And it's just going to be incredible. So be sure to stay tuned. One more thing, we have a few seconds left. What was your biggest challenge that you had to come through, like say even maybe today?
Today, oh goodness, my biggest challenge. Oh, you got me under the gun here. Probably teaching was the biggest challenge. I had so much anxiety and actually
really?
I had panic attacks around
In
that
front of the
time.
room or in front of the
Not in front of the room.
camera facilitating?
Yeah. I had panic attacks before going in front of people. That's how scared I was.
We're going to cover that. We're going to talk about that. All right. So be sure to stay tuned. We're going to wrap up on this segment, and we will be right back.